Have you ever pushed, hustled, and forced your way toward a goal only to feel like you're spinning your wheels? You pray, you work hard, you do everything right, but nothing seems to move. The promotion doesn't come. The relationship doesn't heal. The financial breakthrough stays just out of reach. You start wondering, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth. You might not be doing anything wrong. You might just be doing too much. There's a divine principle few people truly grasp, and it flips everything we've been taught about success and struggle upside down. It's not about striving harder, working longer, or forcing doors open. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting God in a way that feels almost reckless. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison. He had every reason to force his way out, to scheme, to manipulate his circumstances, but he didn't. He stayed faithful where he was, and at the right time, God elevated him in a single day. One moment, he was a prisoner. The next, he was second in command over Egypt. That's the power of surrender. Not surrender as in giving up, but surrender as in releasing your grip and believing that God is working behind the scenes in ways you can't yet see. When you finally do this, when you pray, obey, and then let go, something incredible happens. Doors open that you never knocked on. Favor finds you unexpectedly. Solutions arise without your effort. This isn't a call to laziness. It's a call to trust on a level that feels uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop trying to play God, He starts moving in ways that leave no doubt this was Him, not you. So if you're tired of striving, if you're exhausted from trying to make things happen in your own strength, then this is your invitation. Try it His way. Step back, trust deeply, and watch what happens next. We live in a world obsessed with control. From productivity hacks to manifestation techniques, we're bombarded with the message that if we just try harder, plan better, and push more, we can force our dreams into reality. But here's the painful truth no one tells you. Your effort has limits, but God's power doesn't. Think about it. How many times have you exhausted yourself trying to fix a broken relationship your way? Force a career opportunity through sheer hustle? Beg God for a breakthrough while secretly manipulating circumstances to help Him out? We've all been there. We pray, but then we panic. We ask God to move, but we don't trust Him enough to actually let go. Abraham and Sarah learned this lesson the hard way. God promised them a son, but as years passed with no baby, their faith turned to frustration. So Sarah came up with a logical solution. Maybe God needs my help to make this happen. She gave her servant Hagar to Abraham, and Ishmael was born. But that wasn't God's plan. It was human impatience dressed up as wisdom. The fallout? Generational conflict that still echoes today. Meanwhile, Isaac, the real promised child, came only when Abraham and Sarah were far past natural ability. Because here's the key. God doesn't need our shortcuts. His promises don't require our scheming. In fact, when we try to assist God, we often delay what He wants to do quickly. This isn't just a Bible story. It's a mirror. How many of us are still playing Sarah? Dating someone we know isn't God's best because we're tired of waiting? Taking unethical shortcuts in business because everyone else is doing it? Obsessively checking our bank accounts after we've prayed for provision as if God needs reminders? Here's the wake-up call. Your striving isn't just exhausting, it's blocking your blessing. Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9 says, God's ways are higher than ours. That means His path to your breakthrough won't always make sense in the moment. But when you stop forcing doors open and start trusting Him to unlock them, everything changes. Because the God who parted the Red Sea doesn't need your backup plan. He just needs your surrender. The question is, are you ready to stop getting in His way? Most of us misunderstand surrender. We think it means giving up, waving the white flag, admitting defeat. But real surrender isn't passive resignation. It's the most powerful position you can take. It's saying, God, I've done what I can. Now I trust You to do what only You can do. Picture this. You're in a dark room, frantically searching for a light switch. You're bumping into furniture, stubbing your toes, growing more frustrated by the minute. Then suddenly, you stop. You take a deep breath. And in that moment of stillness, you realize the light was on the whole time. You just needed to stop blocking it with your own shadow. That's what surrender looks like in God's kingdom. The Bible shows us this principle in action through Moses at the Red Sea. With Pharaoh's army closing in behind them and a body of water before them, the Israelites panicked. Their instinct was to fight, to strategize, to do something. But Moses gave a radical command: stand still and watch the Lord rescue you. Exodus 14 verse 13. Human logic said, fight. God said, be still. And when they obeyed, He did the impossible. He made a path through the sea. Here's why this matters for you today. There are battles in your life that aren't meant to be fought with your strength, but with your stillness. When you finally release your white-knuckled grip on control, you create space for God to move in ways that leave no doubt. This was Him, not you. Consider the story of King Jehoshaphat in 2 Chronicles 20. Faced with overwhelming enemy armies, he didn't rally his troops or devise a military strategy. Instead, he did something shocking. He put the worship team on the front lines. The result? God caused the enemy armies to turn on each other, and Judah didn't have to lift a finger in battle. This is the paradox of faith. Your greatest strength comes when you admit your weakness. Your most powerful move is kneeling in prayer. Your best strategy is trusting God's plan over your own. When you stop trying to be the hero of your story, you make room for God to write a better ending than you could imagine. Right now, God is inviting you to practice this kind of surrender in whatever situation feels overwhelming. That problem at work, that strained relationship, that financial pressure. He's saying, let me fight this one. Your job isn't to figure it out. It's to trust the one who already has. Here's the beautiful truth that changes everything. The moment you stop trying to play God is the moment God starts moving in your life in ways that will leave you speechless. This isn't just spiritual theory. It's a reality you can test and prove for yourself starting today. Imagine standing at the edge of what feels like an impossible situation in your life. Maybe it's a financial hole that keeps getting deeper, a relationship that seems beyond repair, or a dream that's been delayed for years. You've prayed about it. You've fight over it. You've tried every human solution you can think of. Now comes the most powerful decision you'll ever make, to finally release your grip and say, God, this is yours. This is where miracles begin. Not when you've exhausted all your options, but when you consciously choose to trust before you've reached the end of your rope. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. The faith that believes God is working even when you can't see evidence yet. The faith that says, I don't know how you'll do this, but I know you will. I've seen this principle transform lives in the most remarkable ways. A single mother who stopped obsessing over bills and started trusting God, then received an unexpected check that covered exactly what she needed. A businessman who released his anxiety about a failing company, only to see God open doors no human could have predicted. A couple who stopped forcing reconciliation in their marriage and started praying together and watched God rebuild what seemed broken beyond repair. This is your invitation to stop striving and start thriving. To exchange your exhaustion for God's rest, your limited perspective for His unlimited power, your frantic control for His perfect peace. The God who spoke galaxies into existence is more than capable of handling what's keeping you up at night. So here's your challenge. Pick one area where you've been white-knuckling control. Maybe it's that job you've been trying to force into existence, that family member you've been trying to change, that financial burden you've been carrying alone. Today, do something radical. Pray about it one more time, then deliberately let it go. Write it down and physically release it if you need to. Then watch with expectation for how God moves. Because here's what happens when you truly surrender. The weight lifts, the anxiety fades, and in its place comes a quiet confidence that the God who holds the universe hasn't forgotten about you. Doors will open, favor will find you, solutions will appear. Not because you made it happen, but because you finally got out of His way. Are you ready to experience this kind of breakthrough? Your miracle isn't in trying harder, it's in trusting more. The moment you make that shift is the moment everything changes. So take a deep breath, open your hands, and get ready. Your story's about to take a turn only God could have written. If you found this video valuable, your support through sharing, Liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel would be priceless. See you in the next one.